guys, it's Sarah, and today I have a review for you on the book Enchantee, and this is written by Gita Trelease. This was very kindly sent my way by FlatIron Books and Macmillan, so thank you for sending a copy of this book my way so that I could read and review it for you guys. This is an art copy, so this is not the final cover. I'll go ahead and put the final cover up here. It's very similar. This one just doesn't have the face on it, but okay, so this book came out February 5th, so it is available now. If you guys want to check it out, I will go ahead and leave a link down below for you guys to go and check it out for yourselves. But I was very fortunate to be able to read this early, and let me tell you, get excited, guys. This book was fantastic. This book is set in the 1700s in Paris mostly, and it is really set around the time of the start of the French Revolution. This follows a young girl named Camille, and she and her family are struggling. She is definitely considered kind of on the poorer side of society. She has lost both of her parents, and it is just her and her sister and her brother who are living together trying to survive, basically. Her brother is addicted to gambling to the point where, he starts gambling to try to get money to help feed his family. However, he starts getting into more and more debt to a certain person who's kind of funding his gambling, and he's not able to pay him back because he's not doing so well for himself. So he is really going downhill, and Camille is watching him go downhill. Gets to a point where she believes that she and her sister can no longer be around him anymore. It just gets, to be a little bit dangerous. Her sister, when the book starts out, is actually pretty sick, and this is when kind of smallpox was happening, and that's how she lost her parents. But she's, trying to nurse her sister back to health as well. So Camille is really, she's struggling. The thing about Camille is that she has the ability to practice magic. Magic is not something that is done publicly. It's really supposed to be kept quiet. No one's supposed to know that you're doing it. And it's even considered a myth that it can even happen anymore. But Camille learned from her mother how to practice magic. Now, the magic system is really, really interesting because it feeds on your emotions, and the magic needs sorrow in order to be able to work. So you have to have really bad feelings. You have to have sad feelings, bring up sad memories that you usually try to suppress because they don't make you feel good. Those are the kind of memories that help the magic work. And upon further working some magic that she had learned from her mom a little bit, and then she decides to go into a different realm of magic that is supposed to be a little almost like black magic. It's not really practiced very much, but she decides to try it out because they're getting very, very desperate for money. And she comes up with a way that she can really disguise herself and make herself look like a person who belongs at the Palace of Versailles, which is a setting in here as well under Marie Antoinette and the king. And so she decides to make herself look like she is part of that class system so that she can get into the palace, and then she can join the gambling games there so that she can make some money that way. But in order to do that, she has to go through some certain steps in this magic, and it is very taxing physically on her. And not only does it require the sorrow, but it also requires blood, which, that can be very draining on somebody as well, obviously. And so, it only lasts for a certain time. So after a while, it starts to fade. And then that's when she has to go. It's almost like a Cinderella type thing. You only have a certain time period until the magic starts to fade on its own. And then you got to get out of there before you're realized. So, and then she's kind of down for the count for a few days after that. Just physically, it takes a lot out of her and it makes her weak. So you see her go into the Palace of Versailles like this, and she's, gambling, and she's learning, how she can kind of be successful in that. She's meeting some people at the palace who end up becoming some of her best friends, but she struggles with that because she also feels that she's not being her authentic self. They don't know that she's Camille. They know her as her, act that she's putting on to be part of this society. So she struggles with, lying to them, basically. And there is also a boy that she meets. Boy, he's a man. There's a man that she meets, and he is kind of a hot air balloon I don't know how to describe it, but he has helped kind of create a hot air balloon. And this is kind of starting to become something that can actually happen. And, he's part of this whole thing. And there's a little crew that is putting together this hot air balloon, and she stumbles upon them and ends up meeting this man. And, they form a connection. Definitely. They keep crossing paths, and she struggles with him as well. Kind of, does he really like me type thing? I'm nothing, because he knows her as Camille. So she doesn't feel she's good enough. And then, upon more relationship with him, she's realizing he's keeping some secrets from her as well. And, just all sorts of things. Very, very swoon worthy, this love interest. I absolutely loved him. I loved him so much. And his name is Lazar, and he was fantastic. So, lots of things happen in here, though. So that's all I'm going to say about, kind of the synopsis. But you really see Camille, going through all these different things and trying to juggle all these different things, keeping her sister safe and fed, trying to make money so that they're not poor and being put out on the street, where they can't survive. And, escaping from her brother, who does some horrible, horrible things to both of them. Trying to balance a relationship with this man while she's keeping secrets from him, and he's probably keeping secrets from her. And, the French Revolution does come up in here. It's not as prevalent as I thought it was going to be. It's more kind of towards like middle end of the book, and it's just kind of like barely starting. So I kind of wish there was more of the whole French Revolution in there. I think that would have been much more interesting as far as the society went, and especially how the Palace of Versailles was affected. Obviously this has magic in it, so it's not quite the same as what really happened. But there was definitely, the hike of the bread prices and all that, and the riots were starting to happen and all that. I do wish there was a little bit more of that in here, but you can definitely see Camille really struggle with her place and what's right and what's wrong, and, the magic and all that stuff. It was fantastic. So my rating, I gave this one a 4.5 stars. I really, really loved it. It was very interesting the entire way through. I was never bored in this. It wasn't ever really, thrilling to the point where I didn't want to put it down. I kept, turning the pages, trying to find out what was happening. There were a few parts in it that, were really exciting. And there is a villain in here as well who is awful, like so bad. He plays a big part in Camille's life as well. And so I absolutely loved it. I thought it was, again, just incredibly interesting the whole time. I love the magic system. I thought it was very unique in the way that, you had to draw on your emotions in order to practice the magic. And then, the certain magic she was using, she needed blood as well. And I could just imagine how much of a toll that would take on you physically. And you could really see that in here as well. The hot air balloon stuff was really cool. There wasn't a ton of that in here though. So I kind of wish there was a little bit more of that in here too. I think that would have been something a little bit cooler. But the main point is, her using magic to get into the Palace of Versailles so that she can have some sort of cash income. That was really just her thing. So very interesting. I really, really loved it. I thought it was beautifully written. I could very, very easily picture everything that was happening, just the way that it was written and described and everything. The magic was really, really cool when it was happening. And it was just so vivid in my mind because of that. So I really enjoyed that. And I absolutely loved it. I would definitely recommend this book, you guys, especially if you love anything that has to do with magic. It was fantastic. I really loved it. So I hope you guys will end up picking this one up. And again, it is available now, so I will leave my link down below. But definitely check it out. I highly, highly recommend it. Definitely. And again, thank you to FlatIron Books and to Macmillan for sending a review copy my way. I'm so honored to have been able to read and review this one for you guys. So let me know down below if you guys plan to pick it up. Let me know if you have read it as well. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.